Hi, welcome to our 11th flashback episode. In this first installment, we're diving into some of the best films in the Western genre.
I'd like me a splash of whiskey to wash the trail dust off in my gullet and keep my singing voice in fettle.
Whiskey's illegal. This is a dry county.
Well, what are they drinking?
Whiskey.
The Ballad of Buster Scruggs is a film comprised of 6 episodes, each based on unique tales from the Wild West. The stories include a gunslinger who boldly claims he's never going to die, a thief who makes a daring escape from the gallows, a man without limbs who recites famous stories and tragedies to make a living, a treasure seeker who unearths riches after enduring great hardship and solitude, a young woman traveling with her brother who later finds herself alone and under attack by outlaws, and finally, 5 travelers in a carriage heading toward a mysterious hotel. This film captures everything Western genre fans seek, with each story adding something special. True to the Coen brothers' style, the endings are unpredictable, challenging our expectations at every turn. The film, directed by the Coen brothers, features Tim Blake Nelson, Liam Neeson, James Franco, Brendan Gleeson, Zoe Kazan, Harry Melling, and Tom Waits. The Ballad of Buster Scruggs has a runtime of 2 hours and 13 minutes. And while it's an anthology, it's well-suited for family viewing, particularly for kids over 14 or 15. It's an excellent choice for both general audiences, discerning film lovers, and, of course, fans of the Coen brothers who haven't yet experienced this film.
Did you realize that our father was stark raving mad and we got his foul blood in our veins?
The Sisters Brothers introduces us to 2 award-winning brothers, hired by a wealthy local to capture a man named Worm. They are tasked with finding Worm and extracting a mysterious formula he's developed for discovering gold in the river. Worm, a chemist traveling with a partner, is on the run, eager to use his invention to amass wealth while also planning to establish a utopian city of his own. After a lengthy chase, Worm and his partner are eventually captured by the Sisters Brothers, leading to an unexpected turn of events. Directed by Jacques Audiard and starring Joaquin Phoenix, Jake Gyllenhaal, John C. Reilly, Riz Ahmed, and Rutger Hauer, The Sisters Brothers has a runtime of about 2 hours. Although it's not a family-oriented film, it's suitable for viewers 14 and up. In my opinion, this film is enjoyable and worth watching at least once for general audiences. In another thrilling story, a group of Japanese travelers rides a train through the desert of Manchuria, carrying a treasure map believed to reveal the location of the lost treasure of the Qing dynasty. An unusual character sneaks onto the train and steals the map from the Japanese. Soon after, a villainous figure arrives, halts the train, and realizes what's happened. But he's too late to intervene, as the map has already been taken. Then, a bounty hunter, the good character, enters the story, aiming to capture the villain. The 3 characters, the good, the bad, and the odd, engage in a relentless chase to possess the treasure map, constantly trying to steal it back and forth from each other. Directed by Kim Ji-won, the film stars Song Kang-ho, Lee Byung-hun, and Jung Woo-sung. With a runtime of 2 hours and 20 minutes, it's an action thriller and a unique take on the Western genre. There's no restriction on family viewing, and I would rate it as an entertaining watch for mainstream audiences.
You're just as likely to find your own grave.
Look, they're shooting buffalo.
In yet another tale, William Blake is a young accountant traveling to a remote border town for a job opportunity. Despite a warning from a fellow train passenger, he meets with Mr. Dickinson at the company that promised him employment. Not only does Mr. Dickinson deny him the position, but he also insults and throws him out of his office. With nowhere else to go and no money, Blake ends up spending the night with a young woman who kindly takes him in. Coincidentally, the son of the ruthless factory owner, Mr. Dickinson, who also happens to be the woman's lover, enters, shooting and killing her. In self-defense, William Blake shoots and kills Charlie, Mr. Dickinson's son, during the incident. Now a fugitive, Blake is pursued by some of the most ruthless bounty hunters hired by Mr. Dickinson to capture and kill him. Wounded in the altercation, Blake is only days away from death. The film, directed by Jim Jarmusch, stars Johnny Depp, along with Robert Mitchum, Iggy Pop, Gabriel Byrne, John Hurt, Alfred Molina, and Gary Farmer. With a runtime of approximately 2 hours, this film is considered an acid western. While engaging, few films exist in this subgenre, making Dead Man one of the most notable in its category. The film is not suitable for children and holds an 18+ rating. In my view, Dead Man is a quality film, but tailored to a niche audience. Its black and white cinematography and unconventional pacing may not appeal to mainstream viewers. Another story features a group of professional thieves led by Pike Bishop, who steal the monthly salaries of railway employees from a local office. However, they quickly fall into a trap set by bounty hunters, leading to a bloody conflict where nearly half the group is killed. Realizing that the stolen salary consists of metal washers rather than silver coins, the remaining thieves, now broke, are forced to flee from the pursuing bounty hunters and set their sights on a new heist in Mexico. Through locals, the thieves learn that a ruthless general named Mapache plans to intercept a train carrying American arms and ammunition passing through Mexico. In exchange for gold, they agree to help him, though this alliance is doomed to end poorly. Directed by Sam Peckinpah and starring William Holden, Ernest Borgnine, Robert Ryan, Edmund O'Brien, and Ben Johnson, the film runs for 2 hours and 25 minutes. This film is part of a Western subgenre known as the revisionist or anti-Western, and it's not suitable for family viewing due to its intense violence. This film is considered excellent for general audiences, serious film enthusiasts, and even niche viewers who appreciate the unique Western genre. It holds a special place in cinema history. Peckinpah, often called the poet of violence, introduced a stylized, poetic portrayal of violence that predated filmmakers like Quentin Tarantino, offering a level of intensity and artistry previously unseen in cinema. In another iconic Western tale, Once Upon a Time in the West, a mysterious, solitary man enters a rundown saloon and eliminates 3 members of a criminal gang. This gang, working for a railroad company, forcibly takes land from property owners along the railway route through violence, intimidation, and underhanded deals. When this quiet stranger, known as Harmonica for his habit of playing the harmonica more than he speaks, arrives, he steps in to protect a vulnerable widow. This leads to a legendary cinematic confrontation between Harmonica and Frank, the ruthless leader of the gang. The film is directed by Sergio Leone, with the story initially conceived by Leone, Dario Argento, and Bernardo Bertolucci before the screenplay was developed. The music is composed by the legendary Ennio Morricone, adding to its iconic status. Featuring Henry Fonda, Charles Bronson, and Claudia Cardinale, the film runs 2 hours and 46 minutes. As a quintessential spaghetti western, it appeals to a broad audience, including families, general viewers, and dedicated film enthusiasts. For those who may have missed this film among spaghetti westerns or Leone's limited body of work, it's considered an essential viewing. In another classic story, Blondie, nicknamed Blondie, and Tuco, the Ugly, form an unlikely partnership as bounty hunter and fugitive. Blondie repeatedly hands Tuco over to collect the bounty, only for Tuco to escape execution with Blondie's help, after which they split the reward. This cycle continues until another player enters the scene. Angel Eyes, the story's antagonist, is in search of a soldier named Carson who possesses knowledge of a hidden treasure amassed during the American Civil War, buried in a cemetery. By chance, Carson encounters Blondie and Tuco and, just before his death, reveals half the secret: the cemetery's name to Tuco and the specific grave's name to Blondie. Now, Blondie and Tuco are forced to work together to locate the treasure, all while being pursued by Angel Eyes, who realizes they hold the key to the fortune. The film builds to a climax in the cemetery, where the three characters face off in one of cinema's most iconic sequences, a three-way duel. Directed by Sergio Leone and starring Clint Eastwood, Lee Van Cleef, and Eli Wallach, this film, with a runtime of 2 hours and 40 minutes, is widely considered the most iconic spaghetti western. Suitable for family viewing, it's undoubtedly one of the best in the genre, if not the very best. This film is a masterpiece of Western cinema and has a broad appeal that includes mainstream viewers, discerning cinephiles, and niche audiences alike.
That's my steak, Valance.
And you heard him, dude. Pick it up.
No. Pilgrim, hold it. I said you, Valance. You pick it up.
In another story, Senator Ransom and his wife attend the funeral of a local rancher, Tom Doniphan, in a remote town. This unexpected tribute from the senator surprises the locals, prompting Ransom to explain the backstory to a curious reporter, taking us back 25 years. The film unfolds almost entirely as a flashback, showing Ransom as a young lawyer who, upon arriving in town, is robbed and beaten by a gang led by Liberty Valance, a terror whom no one dares confront. Determined to bring Valance to justice, Ransom finds an ally in Tom Doniphan, who helps him stand up to the notorious outlaw. Directed by John Ford, this film stars John Wayne, James Stewart, Vera Miles, and Lee Marvin, and runs for about 2 hours. While not fitting strictly into any genre category, it's suitable for family viewing. I consider it an exceptional film, especially for Western aficionados who appreciate classic black and white cinema. In a different story, Beak, a wealthy Texas rancher, marries Leslie, a woman unfamiliar with the challenges of rural life. Beak's older sister, Luz, a strong, self-made woman, disapproves of her brother's new bride, trying to make her aware of the deeply patriarchal society she is married into. In this world, Spanish-speaking communities, including the Tejano and Mexican populations, are often treated as second-class citizens compared to white Americans. On the other hand, Jit, a small farmer and neighbor of this family, is interested in Leslie and has feelings for her. He constantly competes with his neighbor Beak in pursuing new business ventures and big deals. Eventually, Jit discovers oil on his farm, which transforms him into a wealthy and famous landowner for the rest of his life. The rivalry between Jit, Leslie, and Beak continues throughout the story, and it's important to note that Jit has always had a soft spot for Leslie. The film is directed by George Stevens and stars Elizabeth Taylor, Rock Hudson, Mercedes McCambridge, and, of course, the late James Dean. The approximate runtime is 3 hours and 20 minutes, and it belongs to the historical or epic Western genre. This film can easily be enjoyed in a family setting, and without exaggeration, it is a good film. It could have been considered excellent, but the 3-hour, 20-minute runtime feels long. However, I believe the film has a specific audience, those who are true fans of the Western genre and cinema in general, who can sit through a classic color film of 320 minutes and still enjoy it. Sheriff Wilkin is getting married on his last day of service before retirement and is set to leave town that same day. However, shortly after the wedding, he learns that Frank Miller, the criminal who was arrested and handed over to the law 5 years ago, has been released from prison and is returning to town seeking revenge. Everyone, including his wife, believes he should leave, but Wilkin insists that until tomorrow, the day the new sheriff is supposed to arrive, it is his duty to protect the town. He believes there is nowhere to run, and in any case, Frank Miller will come after him. It is better to confront Miller here, in the town he knows. The story reaches its climax when everyone, even his new bride, abandons him when he asks for help. Not only does no one assist him, but they also believe that his presence endangers their lives, and that it would be better for all three of them to leave town as soon as possible. In fact, everyone is only concerned with their own safety, and not about defending someone who once risked his life to protect them. Fred Zinnemann is the director of this film, which stars Gary Cooper, Grace Kelly, and Lee Van Cleef. The film has a runtime of 1 hour and 25 minutes. It does not belong to a specific subgenre and can also be enjoyed in a family setting. In my opinion, the film is excellent. This classic black and white Western is also appealing to a general audience because its runtime is not very long, and its story might remind viewers of pre-revolution films in terms of its central theme. The film also has a specific audience, those who want to experience the distinguished cinematic works of Fred Zinnemann, the director of A Man for All Seasons. One could argue that the themes of these two films are not entirely dissimilar. Well, in the final section of the first episode introducing the best Western films, I will highlight a few more films. In the Puff and Popcorn section, there are 4 films by John Ford and 3 films by Sergio Leone. The first film is The Searchers, 1956, followed by Rio Grande, 1950, both starring John Wayne. Next is My Darling Clementine, 1946, featuring Henry Fonda, and finally, Stagecoach, 1939, also with John Wayne. All of these films are worth watching, in my opinion, particularly for a specific audience, such as those who are professional followers of cinema, especially the Western genre. As for Sergio Leone's work, I must mention A Fistful of Dollars, 1964, and For a Few Dollars More, 1965, in which Clint Eastwood plays the main role in both. I can definitely say that these 3 films are truly entertaining and enjoyable, appealing to a general audience. Those who are serious cinema followers and film enthusiasts, if they haven't seen these films, especially A Fistful of Dollars and For a Few Dollars More, which, alongside the good, the bad, and the ugly, form the essence of Sergio Leone's spaghetti Western cinema, will surely find watching them enjoyable. Dear friends, this was the first episode introducing the best Western films, with 2 more episodes remaining in this series. The names of the films in this episode, along with their release years, are in the description. I would be very happy if you have a different opinion regarding the evaluation of the films, or if you happen to have any films to share. Do you know of an important film in the Western genre? Share your thoughts in the comments and introduce your favorite films to each other. Stay happy, healthy, and well until the next flashback. Goodbye.
I met a traveller in an antique land who said, 2 vast and trunkless legs stand in the desert. My name is Ozymandias, King of Kings. Look on my works, ye mighty, and despair. Nothing beside remains. Round the decay of that colossal wreck, boundless and bare, the lone and level sands stretch far away.